Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to my live. This is the first live in the newly named group, yes, so I've changed the name, as you probably may have realised. I've changed the name from the Yoga Body for Women That Want One to Transform Your Body Forever Now, and there's a good reason for that. I think a lot of women in the group did come in here for the yoga, and that's great because there is lots of yoga in this group. But the reason that I wanted to change the name is because people kind of were assuming that what I taught and what I do is only yoga, and that's not the case at all. I do a lot more than yoga. So so I'm doing lives this week and next, kind of to mark the name change, and I'm also kind of showcasing what I do, and showing you the other areas that I work. But today we are focusing on food. There's no yoga in today's talk, so it's all about the food, and this is the area that most women just want to know immediately when I talk to them. What can I eat? And that's pretty typical, and that's pretty understandable because it's the thing that it's a thing that we focus on, and it's the thing that we have been taught to focus on, and it kind of makes sense, right? If I eat less, then I'll lose weight. But my point is that there's a lot more going on in your body than just calories in and calories burned. And when we look at the whole human rather than just what the human eats, we can actually have a lot more success with weight loss. So if you'll know that if you've been dieting for years, as I did, and you'll know that it's not just a physical process, it's emotional and it's mental, and often you feel stuck and you keep trying different diets and going from one to the next and feeling like nothing's working. But the reason that you feel that way is because you're just focusing on the food, and like I said, there's a lot more going on. And as I said, I work with the whole human, but the whole human, I've got a pie chart. So if you watched my masterclass, you'll see the pie chart in my masterclass. That's pinned to the top of the page. So that's a really good one to watch. And it's got a pie chart in there, and it shows you every aspect that I work on with my clients. And it ranges from hormones to obviously the food and the exercise are part of it, but we also work on mindset, and we work on the emotions and emotional eating. We work on how you plan and how you see the world. It's all really relevant. So, today I am taking that the one aspect of the pie chart and just going through the food today. So because yes, like I said, when ladies start my program, I start with this as well. So because it's what you want, and you need to get that right. We have to get it all right, but the food is the first thing we do. Right. So I developed this 4-step plan. And it's quite simple. It's actually a formula. I call it a formula so that you can take what you want from it and you can actually kind of play around with it so that it fits into your lifestyle, so that it, if it's something that you don't want to let go of, then you can experiment. A formula is meant to be experimented with, right? So that is the first point to make. It's called a formula because it's not hard and fast. This is what you must eat, this is what you're not allowed to eat. It is very, very different to that. But you'll see as I go through, it will sound similar to a diet when I start talking, but as I move through the 4 steps, you'll see that it actually there's a lot of leeway in this, and it's really adaptive, and that is how I work with my clients. I work with them individually so that we can create an approach that works for them, okay? And it's not a cookie cutter approach. This is what you eat, this is what you don't eat. And it is at the beginning, when we're in the weight loss period, and I say stick to this, but we need that, right? At the beginning, we want to be told what to do. But then as we go through it and we work on mindset and emotions, we start to experiment and bring in what you love you know, what you want to eat and what you love to eat, and we play with it. But anyway, we're here today for the 4-step plan. So I will start with the steps. So step number 1 in my 4-step plan is give your body what it needs, right? And I'm all about I'm not about restriction and deprivation, but I am about, you know, nourishing your body in the right way. Okay, so, and when I met my nutritionist friend, Jo Rokins, her name is, I met her a number of years ago on a retreat, actually, when I was struggling with my weight and food. And she is the person that introduced this way of eating to me. At the time, I didn't think it was something I could really do, but the way that she spoke about it really helped me, because she approached it with a very different mindset, and that is what I'm talking about. You can look at something and think, oh God, I'm not allowed this and I'm not allowed that, but that's a mindset, right? And if you're, and this is how I work. And so she there was a little kind of, oh, okay, I see what you mean. Right, food is self-care. Yeah, so putting something into your body is an act of, you know, self-care, putting the right things into your body. So that was the first thing. Give your body what it needs. The second point came from my nutritionist friend, Jo, because I'm not a nutritionist, by the way. I developed this 4-step plan, but it's all approved by my nutritionist friend, and she works with me on the program. So she's approved it all, and she's amazing. So point 2 is let go of, or strategically reposition. Now that's quite important, that bit. So I'm not saying not allowed, I'm saying let go of what you don't need, or strategically reposition it. So there's a difference. I'm not saying, oh, you're allowed to eat this, you're not allowed to eat that. I'm not saying you can never have sugar again, you can never have alcohol again. That's not how I work at all. As I said, I work with each client individually to work out what they want to include, and what they love and what they want, and then we work from there. So, but initially it's give your body what it needs, take away what it doesn't need. Number 3 is listen to your body, right? And this is something we don't do very often, especially when we're following someone else's diet rules. We're just listening to we're not listening to our body, we're listening to what they're saying, and trying to kind of squeeze ourselves into that shape. You know, we have a square shaped and we're trying to fit it into a round hole. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it, with dieting, because one diet might suit one person and not the other person. So that's what I'm talking to. It's about kind of really, what actually works for me, not what works for everyone else. And then the 4th is create space, and on purpose create space to enjoy the foods that you love. Right? So that's the four points. I'm going to go in a bit deeper with each one. It's give your body what it needs, take away what it doesn't need, yes, and then it's listen to your body, and then it's create space to enjoy what you love, right? So, number 1, what does your body actually need? And the answer is you don't actually. All you need, and I'm talking about your hormones as well, because your hormones are the thing. That's what we really focus on in my program. It's supporting your hormones, and because they're in charge of everything in your body, including fat burning. So we have to support our hormones fully, yes, and we are so we're eating proteins, vegetables and healthy fats, right? And that is breakfast, lunch and dinner, right? So I know that as soon as I say that, there's loads of questions. But what if I want to, have a drink? What if I want a protein bar for breakfast? What if I want to eat fruit? What if I, all of those questions, just keep them there. Just let them be. I'm going to address it. Okay, so that's the first thing: is breakfast, lunch and dinner, healthy fats, protein and vegetables. Okay. The second one is take away what your body doesn't need. So you don't need sugar and flour, right? That's really the crux of it, because most things that we eat that we don't need contain sugar and flour. So if you just follow that rule, sugar and flour, then you're good, really, because that really covers most of it. I'd say also for some, dairy as well, right? So far, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, so I'm not allowed to eat this, I'm not allowed to eat this, I'm only allowed to eat, and it sounds awful. And I get it, right? I really do I get that. You may be thinking that, and that's how I thought when my friend Joe, the nutritionist, told me this. So that's why I've introduced points 3 and 4 to my way of eating, and because I agree with that in principle, that we need to support our hormones in the right way. When we do, when we eat to support our hormones rather than counting calories and macros and whatever you're counting, and looking at it that way, when we do eat to support our hormones, we burn fat more effectively, we feel better, we have more energy, and there's tons of benefits. We sleep better, and it can help counter stress and other illnesses as well. So there are tons of reasons, and I have hormones is a whole other area that I could go into, but just know that your hormones are in charge of everything, and if you support them nutritionally, then you're good, right? So knowing that, with that knowledge, I'll move on to point 3. So point 3 is listening to your body, yeah? So listening to your body. What do I mean by that? Because most of the time we don't really listen to our body at all, and that's why I love yoga, because yoga really is about self-connection, and it helps you to increase that without you really realizing that you're doing it in some ways, because you're using breath work. So just a little yoga plug there, because I love yoga, but you don't need to be into yoga to do this, right? So but listening to your body really does mean, I'm talking about your hunger signals, actually, for one. So it's actually, am I actually physically hungry when I'm deciding to eat something, or am I just snacking? And obviously, what I've just said about the actual food. You could be snacking on something sugary, which is not recommended, but because it doesn't support your hormones, it's not good for your hormones. But the other point is, whether you're eating sugar or not, am I actually physically hungry? Because even if you're eating an apple when you're, an apple's got sugar in it as well, but I'll use an example that doesn't have sugar in it. If you're eating some nuts, right, and you're not actually physically hungry, then you will put on weight. Or if it's something that you feel is, maybe you're eating, even if you're eating a plate of spinach, or something, not that you would, but it's, if you're not physically hungry, then it's not needed, right? And that is what I do on my program, is I retrain your hunger signals, and we use we use a hunger scale. So the hunger scale goes from -10 to 10. So 0 is kind of neutral in the middle. And I say to my clients, we have to retrain, because most people, myself included, had no idea when I was actually physically hungry and when I wasn't, because we override our hunger signals all the time. For example, I was a grazer. I used to graze all day. But there's other reasons. If you're eating a lot of sugar and flour, then that really does put your hunger signals totally out of whack, and so your tummy will be growling, but you're actually, it's not real hunger. It's just kind of the body's reaction to the amount of sugar and flour you're eating, and it just throws off your hunger signals as well. So this is why the first stage is really important, because you're basically taking it back to basics, stripping back, and really getting back to your natural. The way that your body naturally is, and finding out, am I actually hungry or am I actually full? So I say have 3 meals a day, and then try not to snack in between meals initially, and it sounds hard, but actually when you do it, and do it over time, you realise that you don't need those snacks. and and then when you get to that, having breakfast, then you have lunch, you realise you're actually physically hungry when you're eating your lunch, so you enjoy it more. And rather than just having if you had a snack at 12 o'clock, then you're having lunch at 1 and you're not really that hungry, and it's, I'm not really bothered, and you don't really enjoy it. So it's a way of also healing your relationship with food, because you're starting to enjoy food more, right? And noticing your own hunger signals. Now I say don't eat until you are a -3 on the hunger scale. And you'll be like, why, what's a -3 on the hunger scale? Well, a -3 is, you have to play around with it. It's trial and error, because everyone's different anyway, but also you're not going to get it straight away. It takes a little bit of practice. So, and I teach also with my clients checking in, and it's something I teach when I teach yoga as well. It's about checking in with yourself and noticing how you're feeling, and hand on heart, what's going on for me. And you can do that with the hunger scale as well. It's like, am I actually hungry? Is this just a craving, or is it just, a result of all the sugar I ate yesterday and my stomach is like all over the place? So you get to know your own body in this way, and you get to know whether this is actual hunger or not. And it takes a bit of practice, and the coaching helps through the program. So am I actually physically hungry? And then the other is, am I actually full? When can I stop when I'm full? So I say eat to a 3 or a 4. So start -3, -4, eat to a 3 or a 4, and don't go to 10, which is like totally stuffed. Never go past a 5 if you can help it. So, and again, that takes practice as well. And what we have to employ here is sort of, a bit of, self-compassion and patience, and to help us to not overeat. And if we do overeat, then just to kind of not beat ourselves up about it, right? So that's the other thing, is this is all part of what I teach on my program, and it all comes into the food. So approaching it like a diet, which many people do when they first start the program. It's like, right, I'm going to eat this, I'm not going to eat that, I'm going to do the tick tick tick, and I'm going to be doing loads of yoga, I'm going to be doing loads of exercise, I'm going to be and then getting to a point where it's not sustainable, and then they kind of turn to me 2 weeks in and like, I just want to give up. And I'm like, right, okay, let's just strip it back again. We'll work on one thing at a time, and we'll decide what that is for them. And then I'm like, this is where the real work starts now, because this is the point where you usually give up. Okay, so that is point 3. It's listen to your body, listen to your hunger signals, listen to how you're feeling, because obviously how you're feeling dictates whether you want to eat or not, because that those times when you snack when you're not hungry is emotional eating as well. That's another point, and emotional eating is a big area that I cover as well. So snacking when you're not eating is essentially emotional eating, when you're not hungry, sorry. And also, if you're eating lunch at 1 o'clock because it's lunchtime, then that also is considered emotional eating, because it's you're eating for other reasons than hunger, and that will be emotional. So, if you struggle, or if you've ever struggled, or if you struggled for years like I did, then you know that it is very emotional. It's a very emotional process, and very mental as well. It's not just a physical process. So that's what we address. So the last point, point number 4. So we've done give your body what it needs. We've done take away what it doesn't need. We've done listen to your body. Yes. And so the last one is create space to enjoy what you love. And then this might seem to contradict what I've just said, but bear with me. So point 4 is about what I say with my clients to begin with is once a week, have what I call a joy eat. Okay. And don't get confused with like cheat days and all that stuff. This is there's a very different mindset around this than, a cheat day. It's about, there's a number of reasons that we do this, and they're not just about having a moment and being able to have whatever you want. That is part of it. But so the joy eat is once a week you choose a meal or something that there may be a party going on, or you usually go out on a Friday for a pizza or curry or something and a beer, and that's what you want to do, and you really don't want to give that up. and this is about creating what you love, as I mentioned earlier, then you do that, but you plan it in ahead of time. You don't do it in the moment. It's not the same as on a Friday night, everyone's going for drinks and you're like, oh, F it, I'm off my diet's out the window, I don't care anymore. It's not that. You plan it in ahead of time, and you go along with the intention of enjoying the meal, guilt-free and worry-free, because those are the two things that we do, aren't they, when we feel like we're eating bad foods, in inverted commas. And so that's one very important thing that this does. It helps you to heal your relationship with food, right? So you can enjoy a pizza and practice enjoying it guilt-free, enjoying every mouthful. I also say do it while listening to your body, so bringing in point 3, so you're not just going to eat pizza and eat as much as you can because you're allowed to. No, it's not about that. It's about you making choices that serve you, that are aligned with your goals, right? So having a pizza and eating a pizza and enjoying it, there's a lot of value in that as well. We should be allowed to enjoy the foods that we love. So this is what I was talking about earlier, about strategically repositioning something. So you have what you love, but just not as often. You're not going to cut everything out that you love of your diet. That's just not realistic. And you're never going to sustain that. So if you can just sort of strategically reposition them while you're losing weight, so that you can still enjoy them, not feel deprived and restricted, because that's not good, a place to operate from anyway, and it will probably lead to you emotionally eating anyway, or sabotaging, and also and enjoy and practice enjoying it guilt-free, okay? Because that is something that we have to let go of if we want to make this long term. Because if we continually eat things and feel guilty about it, we're just fueling the cycle of the yo-yo cycle. Because that's what happens. You feel guilty, and then you push yourself to lose weight and be on a restrictive diet, and then you fail, and then you feel guilty and shamed again, and then you literally emotionally eat about it, or you just sabotage because you're like, that you have that F it mentality. Fuck it, I've messed up. I'm just might as well eat all of it and be done with it, and I'll start my diet again on Monday. And that's the mindset, right? It's a mentality. So it's about breaking that. And this joy eat once a week initially, but over time we introduce more so that you can, but if you're, this is what it does. It helps you to heal that. It helps you to practice a different way and being a different way. So it's, rather than constantly going through life feeling bad about everything you eat and beating yourself up for it. And so we stick to the proteins, veggies, healthy fats for most of the week. We work on your mindset around that and what that means, what you make that mean. We work on eliminating flour and sugar for the first month at least, and then we literally give your body what it needs, take away what it doesn't need, and then strategically reposition the things that you do love, and allow you to enjoy them in a joy eat while listening to your body, right? So that's it. That's the formula. Yeah, that's the 4-step formula that helped me. Like I said, a nutritionist introduced the first 2 steps about what to eat, and I worked out the rest myself about listening to my body. If you don't overeat, if you never eat past like a 5 on the hunger scale, you won't put on weight ever, right? And that really kind of, for me at the time, that's like, and I really didn't get it. I just was like, but I'm eating cake, but if you're eating a piece of cake and you're not eating the whole box, then you're not going to put on weight. And that for me, that probably sounds ridiculous to some people now, or maybe not to some people listening, but that was my mentality and that was my mindset at the time. I'm eating something bad, therefore I'm going to put on weight. Okay? But it doesn't work like that. So if you're never eating past a 4 on the hunger scale, roughly, you're you know, we're all human, right? That's what I mean about the self-compassion. That's where the yoga practice comes in as well, the self-compassion practice, just being kind to yourself about it as well, and just giving yourself a bloody break as well, because we just obsess about food and calories and macros and whatever it is. So that's really essentially it. Give your body what it needs, take away what it doesn't need. That's the nutritionist. And then the next is listening to your body. That's where my yoga bit comes in, and that's where the self-connection, and am I hungry or am I full, and really starting to notice your hunger signals again. And then it's about allowing yourself space to enjoy what you really enjoy, and enjoying it, not sabotaging your enjoyment by feeling guilty and shamed about it. Okay, so I just wanted to say also, I've just got a couple of notes here, just wanted to say at the end, that is the approach. And obviously, if you know, when I work with my clients one-to-one, I really do, you know, hold their hand through this process. So it may seem, oh, it can't be that simple to you. It's not that simple, but it really, really is. And obviously, when you have a coach, it helps you to get through the tough bits, like the 2-week point where you want to give up. I also wanted to say that the food approach isn't the only thing that makes you successful, and that's the problem. That's the problem with the diet industry in general, is that they laser focus on the food as the problem and the solution, right? And they don't allow for anything else that you might be thinking or feeling, and you know, because it's often a feeling that's driving us to go and eat something. And we know what to eat. Well, we know, obviously we think in our heads we shouldn't be eating this, but I'm eating it anyway. And that's not about the food. It's about something else, right? It's about an emotion or a thought or something that's, you know, something's affecting you. And that is what I'm talking about. It's not about the food. That's not what knowing about the food is not what makes you successful at weight loss or getting the body you want. It's about a lot more than that. And that's when I work with the whole human and look at these areas. So if you watch my masterclass at the top of the group, it's free, and it's literally takes you through the process that I go through with my clients, and it's detailed much more in there. So as I said, it's the mindset and emotional management around the food, yeah, because you can think about anything. You can think about things any way you want to think about them, right? And if you think about something a certain way and you're convinced that that's a fact, but that's just because you've been thinking it for a long time. And it's my job to like help you unravel that and sort of weed out the thoughts that are not serving you. Yeah, because there'll be thoughts there that you think are facts, and there'll be things that aren't serving you at all, and they're leading you to eat unnecessarily. And we can eliminate that. We can get rid of that. It's kind of like reprogramming. It's mindset coaching, right? So what else did I want to say? The other area, so it's the mindset, yeah, thoughts and limiting beliefs that are holding you back. It's the emotions, working with self-connection, and also working with, so that helps you to stop emotional eating and getting to know yourself and your body, and that becoming an expert on you, right? Rather than following someone else's diet rules the whole time. Oh, she says I'm allowed to eat this, I'm not allowed to eat that. You know, that's disempowering, and it's not going to help you long term, and you're going to feel like shit when you can't stick to it. And so it's learning what works for you, and that's I take my clients through that process of working out what it is they want, helping them let go of what that doesn't serve them, and helping them move forwards into their lives beyond my program, and just to be able to kind of know themselves better and know what they can do and what they want, and take it into their life so that they can live their lives differently and not be obsessed with food and calories and just, you know, that mental struggle, right? And that's my aim for all my clients, is to help them lose the weight, but that often becomes secondary because it's about letting go of that struggle, so that you can just go into your life knowing, okay, this is what I love, this is what I want, and I'm now going to make decisions based around what it is that I want and what it is that I love for myself. Yeah, not following someone else's rules. So and doing it in a way that makes you feel empowered, not deprived. So it's about empowerment. Okay, it sounds a bit cheesy, but I love it. Empowerment. Right, and it's the sabotagey habits that keep you stuck. It's not, if you're not addressing those feelings, then you're going to keep sabotaging. So it's that emotional stuff is really important. Yeah, I think that's it really. It's just having the courage to really kind of delve a bit deeper and just like, the food is part of it. Yes, it is, but it's really the end thing. It's the thoughts and the feelings that are driving your actions to eat, and that's what we need to work on if you've been stuck for years, is what I'm saying. Not everybody needs to. I'd say 50% of the female population know exactly what I'm talking about, and 50% have no idea. So if you struggle, you struggle, and you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then you're very lucky. You've probably got something else you're struggling with. We've all got our thing, haven't we? So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I had to say. So remember, it's, give your body what it needs, take away what it doesn't need, listen to your body, and create space to enjoy what you love once a week to begin with. And that is my food formula, and that's how I get my clients losing weight and eventually keeping it off, because we work with mindset. So it's a lot more than just about the food. It becomes secondary, I promise you. It does. It becomes like the thing that becomes easy. And it really is that simple, I promise you. And you might be thinking, no, it isn't, Vicky. No, it isn't, but it is. And I've got tons of women that will back me up. So, and one of them's just actually watching at the moment. I've just seen her. There's a lady that was on my programme recently, Eliza. I've seen you. Hi, Eliza. And she's just popping up. And Victoria, actually. And both of them went through this and came out the other side feeling like weight loss can be easy. And they found it a struggle to begin with. And they found that they can just do this now, and it's just not a struggle anymore. And it's a process that I take you through. So I'll leave it there. If anyone's got any questions, or if you're interested in my 12-week program, I have a number of options for different budgets. Please do drop me a DM or comment on this video. I can send you some details. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, welcome to my new group. Transform your body forever now, ladies. So see you soon. All right, bye.